Greetings, my humble subjects. It's Fire on here. How are you doing? So, I've been playing a game a lot on the channel, and I've been absolute love with the franchise. Yes, I'm talking about Assassin's Creed Unity. And I wanted to talk about how the game has changed throughout the years and how it's still a great option to play. But first, I wanted to give a shout out to one of the channels that has been supporting my YouTube growth from the very start. Its name is Delight and Delish. So, again, if you're like me, you enjoy watching food shorts and reels, this is the channel to check out. It's great shorts, they edit well, they put on great songs, and I'll put their link down in the description for you to check out. Now, back to the video. Assassin's Creed Unity is one of the most fascinating redemption stories in gaming history because this game somehow managed to go from being one of the most criticized Assassin's Creed releases ever to becoming one of the most loved entries in the franchise. Back in November 2014, Ubisoft launched Assassin's Creed Unity as the first true next-generation Assassin's Creed game, set during the French Revolution in a stunning recreation of Paris. Expectations were sky high. Ubisoft promised massive crowds, revolutionary parkour, cooperative gameplay, and visuals that would redefine the series. And to be fair, when you look at Unity even today in 2026, it's hard to believe this game is over a decade old. The lighting, architecture, interiors, crowd density, and overall atmosphere still compete with many modern games. Personally, I'm in love with the gothic architecture that's present in the game. But unfortunately, when Unity launched, all anybody could talk about were the bugs. Faces disappeared, NPCs floated through the air, performance tanked, missions broke, co-op disconnected constantly, and players encountered some of the weirdest glitches gaming had ever seen. Critics praised the ambition but heavily criticized the technical state of the game. The Xbox One version currently sits at a Metascore of 72, based on 59 critic reviews, which is respectable but far below what Ubisoft was hoping for. Many reviews specifically mentioned that the game was filled with technical issues and lacked the polish expected from a flagship release. Fast forward to today, and the conversation around Unity is completely different. The game has accumulated years of patches and fixes, and while some bugs still remain, the experience is significantly better than what players got in 2014. On Steam, Assassin's Creed Unity now holds a mostly positive rating with tens of thousands of reviews showing just how dramatically public opinion has shifted over the years. And honestly, as someone who absolutely loves this game, I understand why. Every time I boot up Unity, I'm reminded that Ubisoft was aiming for something truly special. Walking through Paris feels incredible. The city is packed with life, from crowded marketplaces to grand cathedrals to narrow alleyways that seem ripped straight from history book. This isn't just a game map, it's one of the most immersive cities ever created in gaming. Let's talk about parkour, because this is where Unity truly shines. To this day, many fans consider Unity's movement system the best in the entire Assassin's Creed franchise. The addition of dedicated parkour up and parkour down mechanics gave players a level of control that had never existed before. Watching Arno flow across rooftops, leap between buildings, and descend gracefully through windows is pure entertainment. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. Sometimes Arno decide that your carefully planned route isn't nearly as interesting as climbing a random chimney or jumping in the opposite direction. But when the system works, it creates moments that feel cinematic in a way no other Assassin's Creed game has managed to replicate. Even many discussions around the game praise its parkour as one of its strongest features, despite some lingering control frustrations. The stealth gameplay also deserves a lot of credit. Unity moved away from the counter-kill dominance of earlier games and encouraged players to actually think like assassins. Enemies hit harder, combat was riskier, and sneaking became more rewarding. The introduction of dedicated crouching was long overdue, and it made stealth far more viable. But the real stars are the black box assassination missions. Instead of forcing players down a single path, Unity presents a target and lets you decide how to eliminate them. You can sneak through the underground tunnels, disguise yourself, create distractions, infiltrate restricted areas, or simply improvise your way through the missions. These missions feel like a blend between classic Assassin's Creed game and modern immersive sims, and many fans still consider them among the best assassination design in the entire series.
What's our plan?
Our plan? You're not an apprentice anymore, boy. So study your surroundings. Devise your own plan. I'm not here to hold your hand. No targets unreachable.
Out of the way. Move.
Now let's address the story because this is where opinions start to split. You play as Arnaud Dorian, a young man caught between the assassin and Templar conflict during the French Revolution. The story focuses heavily on Arnaud's relationship with Elise, creating a sort of Assassin's Creed version of Romeo and Juliet. Personally, I enjoy Arnaud as a protagonist. He's charming, he's sarcastic, and more relatable than many other assassin heroes. However, I can understand why some players feel disappointed. The French Revolution is one of the most dramatic periods in human history, yet the story often feels more focused on personal relationships than on the revolution itself. Some fans love this approach while others believe Ubisoft missed an opportunity to fully explore the historical setting. Even years later, story discussions remain one of the most divisive aspects of the game.
You seem to have caused quite a commotion.
Well, what can I say? You were always a bad influence.
Oh, you were a worse one.
Graphically, Unity is still ridiculous. I genuinely mean that. There are moments when sunlight hits the streets of Paris, thousands of NPCs fill the roads, and detailed interiors stretch across the entire city blocks, where you forget you're playing a game released in 2014. Many modern players continue to be shocked by how well Unity holds up visually compared to current releases. The crowd technology alone remains impressive, with some scenes featuring thousands of NPCs simultaneously populating in the city. Ubisoft clearly pushed the hardware of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One to its limits, and while that ambition contributed to the disastrous launch performance, it also helped create one of the most visually memorable games in the franchise. Combat is another mixed bag. Unlike the effortless counterattacks of older games, Unity's combat require patience and timing. Getting surrounded is dangerous, and high-level enemies can push mistakes quickly. I personally enjoy the challenge because it reinforces the fantasy of being an assassin rather than one-man army. However, some players find the combat clunky and unresponsive, which remains a common criticism even today. Like many aspects of Unity, whether you enjoy the combat depends heavily on what you're looking for. Then there's the co-op mode, one of Unity's most ambitious features. The idea of completing assassin missions alongside friends sounds amazing, and when everything works, it genuinely is. Coordinating stealth assassination, infiltrating fortresses together, and escaping across Paris creates some unforgettable moments. Unfortunately, co-op was one of the systems that hit hardest by launch issues. Connection problems, broken objectives, and technical glitches prevented the mode from reaching its full potential. Even today, many fans look back at Unity's co-op and wonder what could have been if Ubisoft had been given more development time. What's really interesting is how Unity's reputation has evolved over time. When it launched, the game became a symbol of everything wrong with rushed annual releases. The backlash was so intense that many fans believe it influenced Ubisoft's future direction for the franchise. After Unity and Syndicate, Ubisoft eventually shifted towards the RPG formula seen in Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. Some players love that evolution, while others point back to Unity as the last true representation of classic Assassin's Creed design. Today, discussions about the best Assassin's Creed games almost always include Unity somewhere near the top, especially among the fans who prioritize parkour, stealth, and dense urban environments. So where does Assassin's Creed Unity stand in 2026? It's no longer remembered solely as the buggy disaster from launch. Instead, it's remembered as an incredibly ambitious game that aimed higher than most entries in the franchise. It still has flaws, some bugs remain, certain mechanics can feel rough around the edges, the story won't work for everyone, but the strengths are impossible to ignore. The parkour remains unmatched, the city remains breathtaking, the assassination missions remain some of the best Ubisoft has ever designed. And despite being more than a decade old, Unity continues to attract new players who discover that beneath the infamous launch lies an exceptional Assassin's Creed experience. For me personally, Assassin's Creed Unity is one of my favorite games in the entire franchise. Not because it's perfect, but because it dared to be ambitious. It took risks, it tried to push the series forward, and while it stumbled badly at launch, the foundation underneath was always something special. Every time I return to Paris, sprint across rooftops, drive through windows, and plan the perfect assassination, I'm reminded of what makes Assassin's Creed unique. Unity isn't just a game that got fixed. It's a game that was finally given the chance to become what it was always meant to be. And over a decade later, that's exactly why Assassin's Creed Unity remains one of the most memorable and beloved entries in the series. Well, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay hot.